Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RoadToRuda.com. It is Halloween, scary day for gold and silver getting thrashed today. I posted on YouTube a post I had on the private road last week talking about the commitment of traders report, how the banks had gone massively short into the rise to $35. We'll be planning to slam the price of silver. This is kind of like a mini slam. What they're gunning for is the 100-day and 200-day moving averages, which are currently $30.13, $28.23 for the 200-day moving average. But as I said, anytime they drop below these moving averages, India and China, especially India that we can see, China does it anyway, and now Russia will be buying under the moving averages. So will those criminal banksters, the small, tiny handful of commercial traders, continue to short into rises, and then because they can slam down and cover their shorts? Will they continue to be able to cover their shorts? I doubt it. I really doubt it. The question lies then in, if they can't cover their shorts, how much physical metal are they going to be willing to give up to have control, price suppression control over silver? I think that amount of silver that they have, the physical metal, is winding down. I don't think Russia is at all in the COMEX trading floors. China probably is through other entities. We know that the U.S. government is 100% behind and condoning and supporting through the Exchange Stabilization Fund the price suppression of silver, and has been for a very, very long time. So this is not very worrying at all. This price slam is obvious if you looked at the COT reports last week. Now, what happens during these moments is that the banks wish and hope that the tech traders and your average Joe will sell their COMEX contracts into this slam down so they can cover the shorts that they put on. And it has worked since the early 1970s. The problem now is everybody knows about it. And the real buyers, the big buyers, the India, China, and Russia, I would say are the three big buyers right now. And it is 100% not just traders in Russia and China and India. This is absolute warfare. India needs the silver because they're trying to build their manufacturing capacity of solar panels. And China already has massive capacity, and they're building more. And why, you might ask, why is everybody building more capacity when it's already got an overcapacity? Because there was a leapfrog in technology from PERC units that have been around for 15 years and the TOPCon solar panels, which are more efficient but use about 50% more silver than the PERC units. That's why the guys over at Metals Focus are freaking out, because they know there's going to be 75 to 80% of the solar panels put in will be TOPCon units. How are they going to explain that one? Because it's about a 35 to 40% rise from last year, which was off the charts, and they lied about last year. They came in with 190 something million ounces when it was actually 380 million ounces. So they're going to lie again, but they're having problems lying. So yeah, that's what we got to do. We got to keep an eye on them and try to make them more honest. Interesting that Metals Focus has come out in their latest India analysis and said, they had 3 times more last month than I had. I had 10 million ounces, which is a lot, imported into India. They had 30 million ounces. I'm like, well, what are they trying to say? They're going to try to blame India and not China? Maybe that's it. I don't think they've even addressed Russia saying we're going to add silver to our national reserves, which, Putin could sneeze and destroy the silver market. And when you do that, you destroy the big banks. So That's where we are, and we're getting down to a crazy time frame, especially in the United States of America, with an election that neither side is going to accept the result of. I think the Democrats even more would show even more angry, and there is a possibility that Kamala Harris will be the next president, not by vote but by proxy if they take Joe out. So then we've got a scenario where we've got the person who ran, and say Trump wins the true election, the person who ran for president lost is going to be president for a couple months. And what kind of damage can they do? A lot, as controlling your last. I mean, it's like a cornered rat. This is your last chance to destroy America, as they've been trying to do, and voila, they might have a shot at it. Again, listen to my post of the private road discussion. This is a week old, mind you, but I go through the Commitment of Traders report, which is really important, give you an idea of what I look at on the COT report. That's at Road to Ruta YouTube channel, called Unobtainium is the Next Card Played. Russia buys silver, shows massive power. Russia did announce that they are going to be, and probably already have been, buying massive amounts of physical silver. I don't think they want to have anything to do with COMEX, which is a crazy thing to think that the COMEX sets the price of silver for the world. China, India, and Russia are all thanking their stars that the COMEX does that, because they can pick up literally free silver. It's free to them. They print money. Those three countries print money just like we print money, but they're buying physical silver and taking it out of the hands of the criminal banksters. So go check out that discussion. Again, they're still well above the India buy spot is right here. I've shown it. It's obvious. The beginning of the year was right in here under all the moving averages, and India loaded up. They didn't do a thing practically between here and here. And then in August, they loaded up, and September, they loaded up. According to Metals Focus, they loaded up 3 times. So I think India buying is going to be the scapegoat for the Silver Institute and for Metals Focus. Hope that makes sense to everybody. With the latest slam, the gold-silver ratio is currently at 84. This is just so shocking to me that people own gold when they can swap it for 84 ounces, probably about 80 ounces of silver with the commissions and all that. It's shocking to me that anybody would own gold in this situation. If you love gold, you would obviously swap it for 80 ounces of silver, and then when the rigging stops, the price suppression stops of silver, you can swap it back and probably get, at least 40 times, probably 80 times if it goes 1-to-1, 80 times the amount of gold you have. Wouldn't you like to have 80 times the amount of gold you're sitting with right now? Even if you have 10 ounces of gold or 1 ounce of gold, it is insane to hold gold right now. And don't forget, a lot of these banks have been buying gold. So when they go belly up, they have to sell all their assets. They've been buying gold and Bitcoin, the big banks, through their proxies, but they're going to have to sell it as, for example, JP Morgan goes under. What's the first thing you do? You have to liquidate your readily available assets, which is gold, which is Bitcoin, most likely. And then everything follows those two. I don't think they have much silver. JP Morgan, I think, had to get rid of it. That was the lease to Bank of America, which I hear the rumors on the street now are Bank of America is going to be shut down. I don't know how they do that without creating mass chaos, but yeah, that's where we are in the crazy world. It's hard. Tuesday is the election in America, and it's hard to see how anything will be non-chaotic over the next 6 months to a couple of years. This is what we've been preparing for. You have your physical silver, you have your cryptos. My number one pick by far is Theta and Theta Fuel, especially Theta Fuel at the 20-to-1, 21-to-1 ratio. Do I think Theta and Theta Fuel will perform well during the transition? I do not. I don't think so. But there are certain things that are happening. I don't think any crypto will, truthfully. Everybody will be selling everything that isn't bolted down. That's why I'm so adamant. You have to be able to sit on the sidelines with your assets in your own possession. Silver If you have gold, go swap it right now. Andy Scheckman will do a swap for you. I think he only charges the commission on one side of the transaction. Contact him, info@milesfranklin.com. Don't waste time. There's no time to waste. So, yeah, I think at some point silver will become unobtainium, meaning you can't get your hands on it. $600 silver is possible, but not on the COMEX. It would be at your local dealer. And I think that is coming. And then it'll just go at some point 1-to-1 with gold, and the whole world will wake up to how much gold we have. First of all, I think there's 10 times the amount that Jeffrey Christian will tell you. He'll tell you there's 200,000 tons that have been mined in the history or whatever. Might be 220 now. But I think it's over 2 million. Over 2 million tons of gold have either been mined or have been identified and just been held in the ground. So the United States does. They hold everything in the ground. That's why Trump's talking about the trillions of dollars below our feet. It's not only oil, it's the gold that's been hidden in the Grand Canyon, at Chocolate Mountain in California, all over the place there's gold. Read Gold Warriors and you'll get an idea, and you'll say, holy shit, I better swap my gold for silver, because that will be the catalyst, the acknowledgement there's 2 million tons of gold, not 200,000 tons of gold. The acknowledgement of that would almost overnight put a freely traded gold and silver at 1-to-1 ratio, because there's about 6 billion ounces of each above ground. But silver is so much more important than gold. Remember, all these banks will be going down and belly up. The central banks will be hoarding gold. Yes, central banks will be buying gold, but there's be no exchange to buy it on. That's the other thing. So just, you got to be on the sidelines. You got to be on the sidelines. Interesting that the overnight reverse repos are winding down to zero. This is the beginning of the pandemic. They're buying, increase in reverse repos, where the reverse repos are treasuries sold by the Fed. So the Fed's creating all this money, and then they're selling it. They're selling these into the market to try to tamp down, tamp down the inflation that was coming, because of the, it's so difficult with the repo versus reverse repo. But what you can tell from this is that we are getting to the end of this operation. And I heard at the current rate, which is a lot, we are down to, it went up to, if you look at the chart here, it went up to the peak. Peak was right in here. What is that? 2.4 trillion? 2.4 trillion in reverse repos. This is the banks and the Fed controlling the situation with the treasuries. And now it went down from 2.4 trillion, and now we're at 228 billion and dropping. I think the expected moment when the repo market hits zero is the day after the election. Talk about chaos. And any way you slice it, you need to get out of the system fast. Out of stocks, out of bonds, out of your bank account, out of everything by election, which is Tuesday. And then I think all chaos will be just fucking unleashed on the world. Having said that, I think that'd be the perfect time for China to make their final move on Taiwan and re-implement the mainland of Taiwan into the Chinese mainland. I think there's no question that's going to happen. It's been talked about for so long. I don't think they're going to do it when Trump gets in office, more likely in the transition chaos. So, and it will probably start with just a blockade. No ships or planes in and out of Taiwan. China can easily enforce that and just say, hey, you're part of the Chinese mainland. We've been acknowledged that that's been the case for very long. We've let you guys, run your own pseudo government, but we are in charge of you. The United States can no longer protect you, and if the United States wants to go to war with China, that would be not a good thing. So I don't think, unless Kamala is implemented as president, which could be, with taking out Joe Biden, they don't give a shit about Joe Biden. And you think about these people, they tried to kill Trump. Hell, they don't give a shit about Joe Biden. They can do one of two things, either suicide him or say he's unfit for the job and immediately put in Kamala as president, even though she lost the election. You see how it gets really squirrely? And then who knows what she's going to do between now and, there's a lot of talk that the left does not have any inkling that they're going to allow smooth change of power to Trump. They do what they accuse Trump of, they've always done themselves. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Here's a great article, a post on Zero Hedge from Real Clear Politics. Is the left preparing for war if Trump wins? And the answer is yes. War with who, though? That would be the question. Democrats and the Republicans? I don't see that happening. We've pretty much already segregated ourselves. Would California secede from the Union? Well, most Californians think Gavin Newsom's a piece of shit, and we'll see what happens. But I see nothing but chaos looming. And what do you need in chaos? You need assets in your own possession. Because exchanges won't even be open. Stock markets won't be open. You're not going to know the value of anything. Have a little cash to survive for a couple of weeks. And then we're going to have to start a new system at some point. So that's what's happening. And you guys can deal with it as you wish. There's no such thing as, Trump wins, everything's going to be great. Oh, Kamala wins, everything's going to be great. No, it doesn't matter who wins. Nothing but chaos is coming. So hang on tight, hang on to your hat. Really interesting that Kamala would not go to Joe Rogan to do an interview, but and had all these stipulations. So he's getting J.D. Vance to sit down with Rogan for a 3-hour interview. That'll be a good one. That'll be very interesting. Do I like J.D. Vance? Yeah, but he's still controlled by the Republican side of that party. But you have to be to an extent. Trump obviously is in with the good guys on the Republicans, not on the bad guys with the Republicans. And there's a lot of bad guys. Don't just think this is a Democrat bad guy thing. It's all throughout government, and will be very, very interesting to. This is tonight on Halloween. Interesting that he's doing it on Halloween. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know how this will turn out. I mean, Vance is a smart guy. I've seen him debate. I'm like, damn, he's a really good politician. But he is a politician. Whether or not we get the bone-honest truth from him, I don't even think he tells his close friends the bone-honest truth. But check out my Jenny Moonstone discussion about J.D. Vance. Anyway, great interview here. Two of my favorite people in silver that I've known for, 25, 30 years. David Morgan and Andy Scheckman got together over at Miles Franklin on the Little by Little podcast. Both these guys helped me out tremendously when nobody believed me. Nobody believed me that the markets were rigged in the way that they are. Nobody believed me there was good guys behind the scenes. Nobody believed me that they're purposely trying to destroy the dollar, except these two guys. Now, David sat me down for an interview at the Silver Summit. In one of he did these interviews with people who were speakers, and I chatted with him back then. This is 2010, I think, about the derivative complex, how they controlled the silver market, and how 90% of the people at that conference had no idea what was going on. And I gave a big, long talk about it, explaining what Blythe Masters did at J.P. Morgan, how she ran the credit default swap and then was moved to the gold and silver commodities area because of her expertise in derivatives. And David at the end said, Bix, it's kind of hard to argue with that. You're right, but I can't say that because I'm a mainstream guy. And he knew that if he said, this is rigging and collusion back then, that he'd lose half his clients. And he told me he was bone honest. And I'd say bravo to David. Now David's, he loves the conspiracy now, and Andy's a smart guy too. They both know what's going on and have really embraced the road to Ruta theory, if not outwardly, definitely inwardly. And they see what's going on, which is great. but they're great guys. Listen to this conversation. And that's all I got for you today. Again, watch the new YouTube video I posted. It was a private road I talked about last week about why the commercials are ready to slam silver, and we see it today with the, what is it down now? $1.20. Much ado about nothing. They're not. I don't think they're going to go below the 100-day moving average. If they do, it will be very brief. Like both times here, India loaded up on this. I think was 20 and 30, according to Metals Focus, 30 million ounces. They're on track to do right now 250 million, but probably will get to 3 or more, 300 million ounces into India at a time when we are on a massive silver shortage. And Metals Focus will blame India, but it is really China. China is making massive amounts of solar panels, massive amounts of electric cars. I saw the Silver Institute came out the other day and said that there was only 60 million ounces of silver used in the entire automobile sector last year. And I'm like, what the fuck what are you smoking over there at the Silver Institute? It's more like 150. It's not 60 million. They made 100 million, or they made 100 million cars. 100 million cars does not equate to 60 million in silver. There's at least 1 ounce of silver in regular cars and at least 2 to 2.5 ounces, some say 10 ounces, in electric cars, in EVs. And then there's all the hybrids and all that in between that have 1 to 2. So coming at 0.6% or 60 million instead of double or triple that is just another ridiculous claim from the Silver Institute. Mike Dorinza over there has run that scam for a very long time, and I think it's time for him to retire, if you ask me. But that's just me. More information, go to roadrooter.com. You want to get all the behind-the-scenes stuff, click on subscribe today, and we're currently giving them out 10 Theta, 100 Theta Fuel, 1,000 T-Drop. These are the cryptos for the future, not for the present. For the future. And the future might come in a week. It might come in 6 months, but Theta's going to go into the thousands. And so I think this giveaway is going to do very well, just like when we're giving away, 0.1 Bitcoin back in the day. That's your reward from roadtoruta.com. All you just got to do, take this paper wallet, stick it in your safe with your silver if you're not a crypto person, and then you're into cryptos all of a sudden. So go check it out. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.